Welcome everyone to our Saturday Chapter 20 partner joining, and we're delighted to have you with us. Let's begin with the light of being and just all tune in. Welcome everyone to our Saturday Chapter 20 partner joining, and we're delighted to have you with us. Let's begin with the light of being. Did you all hear that? Okay, I love technology. Okay, technology angels, they're overworked when they're around me. So we have a set of partners who have joined us before, who've been working together, who've been joining together on Chapter 20 for how long now?
I think we did about 3 weeks only.
Okay, and they joined us just after 1 week. Yeah. What was that, Tricia? Yeah.
No, I was just going to say it felt very timeless as well.
Yeah.
Actually, it did. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we have a guest today who has started Chapter 20 and is just beginning. And so this program is going to be for anyone interested in Chapter 20, those who are just beginning, or those who've been at it for a while. And Renee and I both have completed Chapter 20 twice.
Wow.
And, yeah. During the 90-day residential program, and even before that, I had completed it with my partner back in April of 2 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, so Chapter 20 gets us rolling into that whole relationship with Jesus, checking within about all these desires that block our awareness of love. And so we join, usually we try to join, partners try to join every day for an hour, 45 minutes. You know, they pray about it and ask Jesus, okay, when can we join tomorrow? How long should we join for? And then they go step by step through all of the desires in Chapter 20 of Jesus, a New Covenant. So I'm going to ask Michael and Tricia. They've been going together, joining for 3 weeks now, every day. Every day.
No, we were very regular till about 3-4 days ago, when I just felt guided to say, okay, I need to just step back a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
From the joining, not from the book, because in fact I just received the book through the post, and I felt guided to just sit with the book and let it soak, permeate, so that I could, feel more what this is about, because it was all quite new to me. I haven't known you guys for very, very long. Mm-hmm. So, I think we stopped about last Thursday. Mm-hmm. And it feels like, okay, now ready to start again. Mm. Mm. I have to say that it's such a strange thing, because there's often a lot of resistance to getting on the call, but we always did. And then at the end of the call, I would feel sometimes so light, I suppose I could say. Light weight-wise, I mean, and the other lights. And then sometimes I found it was a bit difficult. It felt very intense sometimes. Sometimes I would feel a bit kind of heavy. So anyway, these things all come and go, but basically it feels very compelling to do this work. Very, very compelling. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my experience has been, this week has been about resistance. It's been more about looking at the resistance, actually, for me. Even even like after the hour session where I was joining with Trisha, throughout the day, in many different forms, I would see the desire play out that we were working on. And it was like Jesus was showing me in a practical way how I was using these desires as a defense. And even when I didn't want to, I mean, and when I did see it, it would make me laugh. I would laugh because it was so obvious that I was behaving like a little brat, you know, towards myself. And so even when I would choose against myself, I would spend the entire day looking at the desire that I chose to choose against myself, even when I, quote, wasn't looking. I was looking when I wasn't looking. And so there was no escape from looking at these desires, because we sit here for an hour in the morning, usually, unless we choose against ourselves. And we look at these desires, and then throughout the day, we just play out, like in many different forms. And so it became, I can see how I'm becoming the happy learner in that way. Like when I'm seeing these desires play out, it's not a fight anymore. It's more of just an acknowledgement. Like, yeah, I see what you mean, Jesus. I do love that. And like throughout the day, and there was no sacrifice anymore. Like it feels at times there's a feeling, there is a desire, if you will, for the feeling of sacrifice. And I think that's why, if you look at it, it's one of the early desires we look at, because it's a roadblock to continue looking. And once we look at it, it's like, oh yeah, I can see that. I can see what you mean about that. And it becomes less and less about being right, and more about being happy that you're not wrong, or being happy that you're wrong. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Trisha, you kept nodding your head. It looks like you were having somewhat similar experiences throughout the day, seeing the lesson show up, or the desire show up again and again to look at.
Yeah, especially the first week. I found the first week very impacting because it was like a whole new experience. And I would really notice again during the day, as Michael says, it would be even the little things. I'd think, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. I get this. And it was often about the desire to stay in control, but really kind of seeing how stupid, as Michael says, it felt stupid, you know, and I would be in my kitchen all by myself and smiling and saying, oh, thank you, Jesus. Yeah, I see that now. What I thought was something else was actually that. And it kind of snowballed the first week, each day, whatever it was we were looking at, I would really see that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find that you were willing to come to a miracle at the end of the desire?
I love to talk about that, because with Michael, I really felt that Michael and Jesus, they were kind of supporting the process that was new to me, and I wasn't sure. I was enjoying and relishing the doubts. I was saying to Michael, I feel like St. Thomas, you know, I feel the doubting, and that he would sort of hold that space and keep going. And we had, I can't remember specifically, but we had quite a few miracles where there was really an experience that was nothing to do with words. This was what was kind of new for me with this. It's about the relinquishing of the need for words, but I know I still had quite a few words, and every now and again Michael was like a good steerer of a boat, saying, you know, drop that and just go back to allowing. That was one of his words. So as I gradually learned to drop the words, then these miracles, it was an experience of like really an energetic shift, almost in all the cells. These are images, but that's how it felt. And I remember saying to him, after some days, it was like each question, each desire, when we got to the end and it shifted, when it did shift, it was like I had this image of all these little capsules, but they were kind of enclosed and finished and done, and they could float away and go. It wasn't something left with jagged edges or bits hanging out. It was like, oh yeah, I saw all these little capsules, when it was done. And then some days we'd say, no, we've got to keep going with this, and then we'd come back to it. But it was a new experience to really feel the energetics of it, as opposed to the blah 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 from other ways of going about it. Yeah. Very surprising and very beautiful, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
But I think Jesus sent me a great partner who appears to be very patient. And bringing me back to the presence in the now. That's really beautiful.
Michael?
Yeah, and the more and more I work on these desires with Trisha, I realize I don't know what a miracle. I didn't know. I don't know on a day-to-day basis what a miracle is going to look like or feel like, because it changes. I've had experiences where the miracle is almost overwhelmingly powerful. Like, I think I said this the last time we joined and talked about this, but I remember doing a miracle with Trisha, and afterwards I felt like I could fly, like I was Superman. I felt like I was invincible. I could get hit by a 2-ton truck and it would just deflect off me and nothing could hurt me, and I felt that way. And other times, the miracle was subtle. And like an exhale instead of a monumental shift. So each day, each time, I have to ask Jesus if I've had a miracle or if I'm holding on. And there is an acting out at times in my experience with the body. Like I'll have headaches, or you can't see it because I'm in a chair, but I'll be doing a miracle, or we'll be working on a desire with Jesus and Trisha and I'm over here, my toes and my feet are flexing like this, and I'm over here like ringing, and my whole body is having this like full experience, and I'm over here with my eyes closed, just listening to Jesus, but my body's freaking out. It's trying to wiggle away, and sometimes my wife would be she would be on the couch just doing her own thing while we're working, and she would giggle. She'd see me over here like I'm in a flight simulator trying to move the airplane that I'm not in, and so the physical manifestations are less and less important now. And the more and more we work with these desires, and I put less emphasis on them now than I did. And Trisha, she may not see it yet, but she's just as powerfully helping me as I'm helping her. She'll say something that will trigger a memory that she has no idea is being triggered, and it's beautiful to hear her speak Jesus. And truly, all the glory goes to Jesus. He's the one who's talking through us. I'm just grateful that I was given the opportunity to show I have the willingness to do this. And the more and more I reflect on it, the more and more grateful I am. needs gratitude.
Yeah, I could just add to that about the physical things. One of the reasons I needed to stop, I believed, was because the last day we did join with Michael and Jesus, I got sick whilst we were talking. I was okay before the call. We joined and we were looking at something pretty intense. I'm not sure which one it was, but it was quite intense. And when we stopped the call, I felt ill and I found myself with this intense infection needing medical treatment and antibiotics and everything. And that was interesting because I remembered that when I was with Living Miracles in community, when things got really heated, when it started to fire up, I would also get these kind of infections. And I had totally forgotten, it was all going on in the subconscious because I totally forgotten that I got this thing. And there it was, the last day. So I just feel that when we join, it's so, in a way, pure. We're just there, we're just two heads talking. There's no stories, there's no nothing. The images come through, sometimes very lovely, either metaphors or images, but it feels very pure, actually. And then the body was doing all that stuff, and I'm still on my antibiotics, but I'm kind of laughing at it because it just seems, as Michael says, it's comical to see how it plays out, It's pretty amazing. The power of miscreation. It's,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, I think we can all relate. Yeah. Do any of our guests, Janice or Darlana, do you have any questions you would like to ask these two?
I can't think of any right now.
The only one I would ask, I guess, and I guess because I'm in a position where I'm not joining every day at the moment, and I'm just like, I so want to join every day, but I'm not able to at this point. So I guess, and I can only imagine, or I can only assume, or I can only that it's being guided that way. So I'm just happy to be in a more of a slower joining at this point. This may not be a question.
Is the question, is it important to join every day, or is that what you're really asking?
That's probably the question that's probably trying to get out.
It is. To answer your question, plainly, simply, it's very important to do it every day. Because you'll still get the benefit of joining when you do join. But I think that you don't see the resistance as plainly and as needed as you need to see it if you don't do it every day, because we can hide in our little cocoons if we only do it once or twice a week or every other day. There's the ego will will go in the basement and eat a bowl of spaghetti on those days that he's not joining, and fatten himself up so he can survive the days that we do join. And so when we do join every day, it creates a consistent consistent resistance to siding with denial instead of divinity. That being said, I still see where I side with denial, but I don't think I would if I didn't do it every day, because I could convince myself that I'm just living my life on those days that I'm not joining. and quote, my life. So to answer your question, I would say yes, it's very important in the end that this is a consistent daily practice.
Mm. And I think there is a momentum. It was almost like each day it's slightly something like deeper, I guess. Deeper would be, these words are so clumsy, but I really believe in that momentum on the everyday thing. And the other thing is that when there's a stopping, which I did, it kind of makes it even harder to come back. It's like, as you say, eating spaghetti in the basement or whatever. It's the contrast is stronger, more intense. There's definitely the momentum factor, which is actually helpful. And some days I got glimpses of almost like ooh, it'll be great when it's 2 o'clock and we're going to join. There was that too, some days. So it's kind of like everything with the mind, that there's movement and change and contrast and contradictions, but the underlying strength is the presence of Jesus that just is always there, just always, just quietly there. And we kind of know this, So I think it's beautiful because even if we have a bad hair day where it doesn't seem to be flowing or as holy as it should be, it doesn't matter because there's this knowing that Jesus is just there saying, it's okay. It's okay. This is the experience I'm having. And yeah, it's the other thing I feel really beautiful about this is that joining with Michael, I can really feel the threesome. There's Michael and me and Jesus, and no judging. Doesn't matter what kind of crap I might say at some point or whatever. It doesn't matter because it's not about that. We're here, we're doing it. Just the very fact that we're here doing it. And I feel a lot of love too when we're on the call. I do feel that love circulating. Yeah.
Thank you. I actually thank you because a question came up because, and I've actually spoken with Jesus about this because it's a little, I kind of know. It's like, I know my partner's with me all the time anyway. I'm joining with her. And I'm like, I just want to keep going. And I just wondered if I could, why not? Like spirit is spirit, we're all one, that I would actually keep going every day at the same time. And it would be okay to do that. Because I just feel that, oh my gosh, like the guidance and I'm feeling it right now to be always in guidance is so strong. And so I'm just wondering, okay, I'm just throwing that out there. I know that might not be how, but that to me would be a way to when my partner isn't able to join, that I am still joining with her and doing the work still.
I think that's a really great question because there were days when I'd say to Michael, if we hadn't completed, if I didn't have that little capsule going off into the ethers, we hadn't completed, and I just would say to him, I feel Jesus is saying, it's okay, just carry on your day, but remember I'm here and remember to come back and keep looking with me. And Michael's not gone anywhere. The beautiful mind of Michael doesn't go anywhere. It's like all day long, 24/7 now. Because it's not Michael, is it? We know that it's not really that, but it's this beautiful joining. And yeah, I think the joining is so miraculous, and it does kind of permeate into the mind all day long. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to share also with that, that my partner and I started out in the first month, she had a full-time job. And so trying to meet on a daily basis was not happening. And so we were only meeting like every we were only meeting, I think, 3 times a week for like the first 3 weeks. And the call of her heart, she kept saying, was for us to meet every day. Well, the person she was caring for as her job transitioned. So then we were able to meet every day. And the experience of joining every day and being totally focused on listening to that inner voice, listening to Jesus, and joining with my partner became the defining part of every day. It affected everything. It became the most important part of our day, and the most important part of our experience. Let's see. There's such power in that, the commitment and the willingness to do that kind of focus and that kind of looking on a regular basis seems to reinforce the power of the looking and the joining. It's like, I am 100% committed to this, and it just affects everything. It overlays everything. So yeah, Janice, this joining every day, and we could all, in fact, I was prompted to ask us all to just pause a moment and look within and ask Jesus, ask Holy Spirit, is it given? Is it given? Is it divine expression, Janice, for you to continue with the lesson or the looking every day? And I heard a yes. I don't know what is anybody else here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, yes.
Yeah. And there's really, like with my partner starting out, where we thought, geez, are we going to be able to ever finish this? Or, what's going to happen here? And within 3 weeks, we were meeting every day. And so there's no telling when the willingness is there and the commitment. Jesus rearranges time and space. There's just no knowing. So your commitment is there, your willingness is there, Janice, and the miracles are happening. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I can second that with Mary's experience with the time and space just rearranging for you. I remember sitting, I was a janitor. I remember sitting and saying, God, why do I have to work to live, to really live? I don't think that's not what I want to do. And the very next day, I got a pension from the military. I never had to work a day in my life, and then the following year, I was asked to join or 2 years rather. A couple of years later, I was guided to come to the monastery, and here I am working every day. My finances are fine. Everything around me is taking care of me. I have no physical obstacle unless I place it before me. And I also noticed that whenever I do choose against myself, it's like you tell the ego that I'd rather have you than God, and then that little brat goes behind you and trips you every 15, 20 steps. You ever know that kid that in grade school that would clip your leg and then you would trip yourself? He'd be behind you in line and he'd clip your leg. He would do that. It was like the ego would cause this calamity in the form of the lesson that I was denying, and it would be painful. But I would get upset and be like, "Oh, woe's me!" And then before I was becoming a happy learner, I was a victim. But now I noticed, and if you look at it from a point of neutrality, if you look at it from Jesus' perspective, you'll see quite quickly that it's almost comical that we do it, that we side with this energy of denial, and how damaging it is, and yet how much it's like we got a bad friend we can't let go of. Like one of those, you just see those abusive relationships and you just can't let them go. And it's almost comical now. I don't know how to, I can't, it's I don't know, I'll just leave it there, but it's definitely the you can't hide when you start doing this. And then once you realize you can't hide, you just jump in, you just do it, you just, and then it becomes fun. It becomes comical. The resistance is the misery, not the going with it. Yeah, if you're having a hard time of it, and the first thing that comes up is I don't want to do this because I feel like shit. You really need to look at who's making you feel like shit, because it's you. And I think once you realize that, it's comical. You laugh at it. Oh man, I'm the one who's doing this. Jesus, what's wrong with him? He's going, exactly, man. That's what I've been trying to tell you for your whole life. So anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, what I'm hearing, Michael, when you say that, I've noticed here being at the monastery now for 2 years that there are times when I do not feel well, but because I'm encouraged and I go ahead and step into it anyway, that's the only way the recognition comes that this is worth it. If I go sideways and come up with all these reasons why I can't do this or I can't do that, or Jesus, what are you taking away from me? If I've got all that going on in my head, there's no recognition of any joy. There's no recognition of, wow, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the answer to the call of my heart. Yeah, so it's like, in spite of all the flack that may be going on, doing it anyway, going for it anyway, stepping into it anyway.
Yeah, and it's very similar to recovery. You have to work it every day. There's no room for a second guessing or miracle work is not a two-way street. It's a highway. Everybody's going the same direction. If you're going the other way, you're going the wrong way, and you're liable to get hurt. That's funny.
Okay, I'm just asking within if there's anything more here for us to look at.
I felt to share something about the resistance story. I just found it surprising that I had felt to stop for a couple of days. I was feeling this overwhelm. And I think it was maybe the night afterwards. I was woken at 4 a.m. It never happens to me. You know, I'm usually a really easy sleeper. And I was wide awake at 4 a.m. and I just said, okay, what is this? Jesus, what's going on? And he said, I'd had the book a couple of days arrive before. He said, just read the book, Kay's book. And so I did. And as soon as I started to just in my bed read this book and see the amazing images in the book, there was this kind of field of peacefulness and light. So I'm mentioning that because it seems like my resistance was so strong, saying I need a couple of days holiday. It was like holiday. I need a break. I'm overwhelmed. I'm sick. I need a break. And yet, in spite of that resistance, this kind of amazing energy happened at 4 a.m. I don't know what it means or anything, but it made me very happy, and was totally unexpected. It wasn't like I was thinking, oh, that would be good if I could do something holy, but not at all. I was really basking in my so-called overwhelm and my rest and my antibiotics and this and that. But it's amazing how somehow he just came in, woke me up and got me reading the book, and wow. Yeah, I don't know really what that means, but it obviously means something.
Yeah, well, thank you for
Mm.
sharing that. I've been waking up at 4 a.m. for 10 years. And it's like, WTF, what's going on here? You know?
Oh,
And since I've been here at the center, I mean, I've been working on it. But now Jesus talks to me at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I appreciate what you said. Yeah, because that's the answer. I don't have to, it feels like at 4 o'clock in the morning that my thoughts or my fear, my thoughts, the anxiety, the terror, whatever I'm experiencing in that moment is more powerful than God. And
yes.
he's gently been showing me is no, Mary. Join with me, ask me, turn on the light, you know, pick up the book or a lesson that moves you and join with me. And it just totally turns everything around.
Mm.
So that's what got triggered for me with your 4 a.m. share there, Tricia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Renee, have you got anything you want to contribute here? That's coming to you?
Just gratitude for the willingness to look and seeing that everyone is having the direct experience, you know, and it's becoming more consistent and more natural. Just to rest as the light and listen, this deep listening and contemplation and willingness to see, like, I don't know what anything is for, and go naked to God and just ask him, show me, and just, you know, staying with that no matter what. The commitment to ourselves is it's for the whole. It's for the whole. Can't even, you know, it's so far beyond, like Trisha's saying, you know, the words, it's so far beyond the words, but the words are so, I'm so grateful for this follow, the simplicity, the lights here, honesty of God. Show me how I don't want to be the light. Like, I don't want anything to do with that. Like, it's just like that keep coming back to that, like, to see how much I relish, you know, how much I relish saying no.
Yeah.
Like a 2-year-old, you know. Yeah, it's funny. It's just funny. And I've just noticed that this, as we keep joining, it's getting lighter. Kay's mentioned it so many times, like, you're going to be laughing that, you know, and you know, there are times that I felt like that I'm never going to be laughing at this, never. And, you know, we're laughing at it. So thank you, Jesus. Thank you, mighty companions, for your commitment, for your devotion, your willingness. It is beautiful beyond.
Yeah, and he's reminded me that I've been looking for this for a long time. You know, he gave me a memory of my brother and I used to go rake leaves, and I remember us saying, "Remember then the Bible where Jesus says, where 2 or more join, there I am." Well, we're going to use that. We're going to join, and we're going to come up with a plan to rake leaves, and we're going to make money. And I remember us using that that idea for our own selfish needs at the time. And I've been trying to do this since I was a kid. I just didn't know it.
Yeah. All the ways that we think we're going to find freedom or happiness through the desire. So it's just flipped. It's just flipped. And so we're just seeing that flip and saying no to the ego. I'm not willing to tolerate this in my mind anymore. Oh yeah. I just see the pleasure in the scheming, it's like, so. And I want to see that differently. So, thank you.
What I'm hearing is just, it's been the call, it's the call of our heart to be here. It's the call of our heart to find what is true. And that's what our commitment is. And so we're joining together and bringing all of this together in the light and joining with spirit. And thank you. There's, yes, the gratitude and the joy of the joining. Even when sometimes it just seems like there's this darkness and it's intractable. Somehow the joining starts to break, the joining and the looking within breaks up that habit of seeing things that way. And thank you. Thank you for joining us today, everyone. And look forward to seeing you
guys.
Yeah.
Thank
See you
you very
later.
much.
Love and blessings from warm San Juan Kosala.
Another foot of snow in Ottawa. 6 inches.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.